8 minutes. So let's quickly talk about this. Last subject, a bit of boxing. Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury. So this conversation has been going on for a couple of months. So ever since the second fight where Fury absolutely battered Deontay Wilder, Deontay Wilder's team immediately basically said, we're going to invoke the rematch clause. Since then, that was back in February, and obviously March, COVID started. But ever since then, it's kind of just been, very quiet from Deontay Wilder's end. And Tyson Fury has been, doing his fair share of interviews and talking and stuff like that. Cold coffee. But he's been, been quite vocal about wanting to get it on and wanting to get rid of this rematch that is, he's contracted to kind of have to fight. And he just wanted to get it over and done with. Now, over the last week or so, Frank Warren and Bob Arum, both Tyson Fury's promoters, have basically said, look, Deontay Wilder's team have not basically scheduled a fight. They were due to schedule the fight and they haven't done it. They've run out of time. So now contractually, we aren't what's the right word? Contractually, we're not obliged to fight Deontay Wilder. So we're going to be looking for a different opponent in December because Tyson Fury really wants to fight this year. Now that allows for a conversation to begin for Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua to fight each other next year, because Fury, you'd assume will fight in December. AJ is due to fight in December. They'll both be fighting at a similar sort of time. It'll give them, the rest of the year off. Start training, in the first 3-4 months of next year. In theory, you can schedule a fight between them two for the unified heavyweight champion of the world. All of that stuff aside, I just quickly want to talk about Deontay Wilder. Now, I feel like this is the perfect storm for Deontay Wilder. I feel like it was a misstep by them immediately saying that they want the rematch with Tyson Fury just because of the way he was comprehensively battered in that second fight. I feel like it was a move made listening to the ego rather than logic. So they didn't use their head and say, this might not be a good idea for us to fight Tyson Fury again. He basically outpointed us the first time around. We got away with a draw decision. The second time around, it was just conclusive. There wasn't a single moment in that fight that Deontay Wilder won. He got beaten. And what are they doing different? What can they do differently at this point in his career to allow him to have a better chance of beating Tyson Fury in a third fight? It's very difficult to see or say, this is an area we can look at. This is an area we can really improve on from a technical standpoint. And this is a game plan we can implement. And this will enable us to beat Tyson Fury. You saw Tyson Fury fight in two different styles in the first and second fight. And he basically outperformed Fury in both fights. So he can fight on the back foot. He can fight Wilder on the front foot, putting it on him. And in both scenarios, he beats Wilder. So I feel this is a bit of a blessing in disguise, because this whole COVID situation and how things have kind of delayed and kind of stuttered and stuff like that, it gives them a ready-made excuse as to why they weren't able to get this third fight over the line. At the same time, it allows them to avoid Tyson Fury, because it's a fight that he's very unlikely to win in a third fight. And I'm talking about Wilder when I say he's very unlikely to win. And it allows them to move forward and maybe fight a different opponent and take Deontay Wilder's career in a different direction without losing face, without people saying, oh, you bottled it. You chickened out of a fight with Tyson Fury. And I'm not saying that they're not making this fight happen because they're scared, because obviously there are financial implications. Obviously there are things that they need to take into consideration from a financial standpoint before they, say, all right, this is the date, this is where we're going to fight. The live gate is a big issue. I understand that. I appreciate that. But for one guy that was harping on about one face, one name, one champion, and just talking about how he is the only guy that really wants to be the undisputed champion, this is your first step back towards that goal which you say is so important to you. And it's just convenient, isn't it? Oh, how convenient. Like, it's just convenient that, you know, it's not going to happen now, after you guys basically, you know, were so adamant that you're going to invoke the rematch clause. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where his career goes from here. But, I mean, if after all, the goal for Wilder was financial, like that was the main goal in terms of becoming a boxer, generational wealth and all of that, like the offer that DAZN made before he fought Tyson Fury, was it for the second time? Yeah, before he took that fight. Like, the DAZN made him a clear offer, and he spurned it, and that would have been the most money he would have made in terms of, from that phase of his career moving forward. It was like an 80 million offer or something like that. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to talk about it again, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, nothing really adds up. There's no logical way of tying up all of the moves that Deontay Wilder has made throughout his career with what he's said throughout his career. Does that make sense? So all of the stuff that he said along the way, and then how he's actually acted, they're not the same. He doesn't walk the walk. He don't talk the talk. And that leads me to believe that all of these people that are fanboys of Deontay Wilder, it feels like they're a little bit quiet now. Just feels like they're a little bit quiet now. But yeah, I've run out of time. Someone's already joined that meeting I was on about earlier on, so I better go. Although he joined 4 minutes early. Who joins a virtual meeting 4 minutes early? Anyway, listen, if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, comment on any of the things that I've talked about. Feel free to comment. I always respond to comments, genuine comments, and not just people swearing or cussing any of the fighters or whoever I've spoken about during the course of this video. So please pick your words wisely. But yeah, comment, share, subscribe to the platform, subscribe to the podcast on the podcast platform that you use. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.